I can word. I swear I'm a writer. I can do this. Hey everyone, it's Aradna. I am going to be trying to do this AuthorTube thing consistently, so let's see how this goes. This past year, I have written a series of blog posts about content creation, tips and tricks that I have found personally very helpful in being a content creator, whether it is graphic designing or writing which is my primary form of creation. And I thought I would share a few of the writing tips specifically that have helped me in creating stories and poetry that I have been comfortable and proud to share to people. So let's do this. These are just about 4 or 5 tips that have helped for me personally. And tip number 1, write daily. Now, I am not the only person to say this. This is something a lot of published authors have also said. Writing daily with a minimum goal of maybe 500 words, or writing for a set amount of time at a set time has, helped them finish their books, has helped them meet their deadlines, etc., etc. And if that is something that works for you, that is great. For me personally, writing daily does not mean trying to hit a word count or a time limit. It means consistency. Writing daily is the consistency I need personally to not go into a writing slump or a writing block. It helps me keep working on my various projects. And this does not mean that I'm going to be writing like 100 words or 500 words a day. No, it can be something as simple as just writing a sentence. And whether or not that sentence makes it into the final draft of that particular project does not matter. It is the consistency that matters. It is the daily ticking off on my spreadsheet that yes, I did something creative. Maybe I wrote a sentence. Maybe I wrote a short poem. Maybe I wrote a snippet that goes nowhere except for my Ko-fi Snippets from Nowhere series. It doesn't matter. It is the writing that matters. And that is something that I think if we let go of the pressures that we put on ourselves, of course, this doesn't count if you have deadlines. Do not take this advice if you have deadlines. Meet your deadlines. Don't be me. But yeah, if this is something that might resonate with you, writing daily but without giving yourself a specific goal for that writing, see how it works for you. Tip number 2, if the one project you have been most excited about has not been sparking joy, has not been giving you the creativity that you need to continue it, don't force yourself to keep working on it. Again, if you have deadlines, do not listen to this advice. Or, write something else, something short to switch your focus for a bit and then come back to that project. That could also work. But do not force yourself to focus on something that is not working for you, because it will only make you hit a wall. I personally, when I do things like writing events or prompts, I don't just work on one project. I cannot do that. I need to constantly be switching projects and working on things that spark joy, spark creativity. So like take this November, for example. I am working on a multitude of things. I have 2 short stories that I have completed and now need to edit. I have a long form fan fiction that I'm finishing up and a novella that I still need to edit. But yeah, multiple things to allow me to keep creating consistently. And it comes down to that. At the end, consistency is key for me. If I lose that consistency, I lose the focus to write at all. Tip number 3, Personally, for me, finding people that I can talk to about writing, about my stories, who are as excited as I am about creating, whether or not we share the same interests in the types of stories we tell does not matter. Just someone I can gush to about, oh, I had this really great writing day, or I had this great plot twist idea, and do you think this turn of phrase works for me? I have talked at family members about my stories, and even though they don't get what I am talking about, they have been excited for me, but I can see, that glazed look on their eyes that, yeah, this is not my thing, but I'm happy for you. It's helpful, but having that person to bounce ideas off of, having a community of people you can go to and be like, hey, I did this today, or I'm excited about this event, or I found this prompt and I thought you would be interested in it too. That has been really helpful for me in keeping that creativity flowing. Just recently, I've been part of this Discord server where we're doing prompts every month. We take the same prompt, and whoever in the server is able to write a story to it will share it on their Ko-fi pages, and then at the end of the month, everybody has a list of all the stories that have been written, and we share that to our communities. And it has been really encouraging to see everybody's different approaches to the same writing thing, and everybody's venting and commiserating as an encouragement to write. And this has not been the only community I have been a part of, and it has been a privilege to get to know all these different writers and find these different methods and learn from each other and encourage each other. And that, I think, does help a writer to just find your own voice as well, and find people who are like-minded. Having that community of like-minded individuals is something that has been really wonderful and really good for me. And if that is something that you are looking for, I have linked a few Discords in the description. Among that, this author Avengers, we're called, where we do the prompts every month, and the Castle Cafe, where we just talk about our writing and our other creative pursuits. And we're doing an event this month that encompasses not just writing, but also any creative work you might be doing, and even any of your self-care and your adulting, basically any personal things or professional things you need to do. All of it counts for this event, and that approach has also helped us all in having a community that is very, do not stress yourself out with your work, and take a break when you need to. It's been really good for all of us, I think it's safe to say. Yeah. Tip number 4, joining back to the previous thing, having events, taking part in events, whether they are official events like Botanica Blooms that is currently going on, or any other writing events like the Global World Write-In that happened recently, and the 100 hours of writing event, the OHOW stream relay that just happened this past weekend that I participated in. That can also help. It just doesn't just help you with sitting down and actually doing the writing because you have either competition or a deadline or whatever. It also most times gives you a community, if not an entire large community. You will most likely find a couple of people that you're like, hey, you and I click, let's stay writing buddies. And yeah, that has been a lot of help for me personally. So I try to participate in events over the course of the year, but do not take on more than you can chew. Do not stress yourself out for these events if they're not your cup of tea. Do not put that additional pressure on your head. If you're taking part in this event, take part in it because you want to have fun, and or if you have a deadline, take part in it to meet your deadline, but don't hurt yourself over it, you know, in meeting those deadlines. Remember to take care of yourself as well. Yeah, so besides events, whether this like the ones I've mentioned or fandom events, sometimes those help. Exchanges, those can help as well. These are things that, you know, keep me personally writing, especially if they spark shorter pieces of fiction that then can lead to me going, hey, this idea could work in my bigger pieces of fiction, and then that helps. So all of these things so far have been helping me. And then the fifth tip I have for you is that every bit of writing advice you see everywhere, it works for those people writing or posting those tips. If they do not work for you, if you try them and they do not work for you, do not force yourself to keep using those tips. Discard the writing tips that do not work for you. Find something that works for you, stick with that. If that stops working for you, discard it. Move on. Do what works at the end of the day for you. Everybody has a different approach to things. Just because somebody is a published author, successful, etc., etc., doesn't mean that their approach to writing will necessarily work for you. Yes, it worked for them. It's gotten them where they are. But everybody is built different, and you could find something in their approach that maybe works for you, but don't force yourself to do everything the same way. Discard what doesn't work, find what does, and stick with that. So these are the things that have worked for me personally. If you want more of my thoughts on content creation and tips and tricks that I have picked up and used, you can check out the blog posts. I will link the first one in the description below. And yeah, let me know if any of this is something that resonates with you. If you want to join in on any of the events that I have mentioned, I will link them as well in the description, to feel free to check them out. And I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.